Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack.
Hey everybody, welcome to Fresh Take from What Fresh Hell, Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Amy, and today I'm talking to another Amy, Amy Betters-Midtvedt. She is a Today Parenting contributing author with more than 1 million readers and 25 years of experience working with adolescents and families. In both Amy's job as a literacy coach and in her life as a mother of 5 kids, now ages 12 to 22, she's been surrounded by kids and teens and is passionate about serving them. Amy's new book is You'll Make It and They Will Too. Everything no one talks about when you're parenting teens. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So parenting at this stage, you talk about in the book that it goes from one reason that you're waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning to another reason to be waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Amen.
All-encompassing concern for very different reasons.
That's right.
And when you get to that point, as you say, like your first reaction, my first reaction too, was like, oh no, how do I stop this from happening? How do I slow down time? How do I turn back the clock? How do I make these unwelcome developments go away? What does one do when one finds oneself there?
One cannot stop time, even if you try really hard. And so that's the difficult part, right? The faster you can accept it, better off you're going to be. But accepting it is really hard because the things that are happening can be really hard on our hearts, right? Because sometimes it feels like this kid that couldn't stop holding onto your leg is now actively rejecting you, does not want you in their space. And that can feel really personal and really hard. It can hurt. But it's all so normal and it's not personal at all. It really has nothing to do with us and everything to do with their brains. So the more we can kind of lean into that and think, all right, this is just, we call it the puberting around here. Like the puberting is occurring. This is a sign of the puberting, right? And like sometimes the child who's in that phase will think it's funny and other times they'll really not laugh at all and really want you to stop. But using that little bit of humor and just that knowledge of, oh, okay, so this is what we're in for. And it's going to be, some of it's not going to feel great, but we're going to make it. There's still a lot of joy that you're going to find in these phases of your kid's life. It's not, all the fun isn't done.
I love that you call it the puberting like a horror movie because
right.
I have made this joke before that parenting this age, like the tweens, the puberting, it is like the first act of a horror movie where, you know, like you're walking down the hill at summer camp, then all of a sudden, like a hand reaches out. Like we're talking like 10 minutes into the movie, right? Like one very scary thing happens, and then you're like, did I imagine that? Oh, I guess everything's fine because it's not even consistent. They flip into other selves and then go back to the 12-year-old they used to be. And it's confusing before, first of all, I think.
And you never quite know what you're going to get because one second they don't want you. And then the next second they're actually like almost trying to crawl on your lap.
Right.
Which is so confusing.
So it's so weird and it's so inconsistent. I'm going to quote you here. You say so much weirdness comes when they go back and forth between staying their old selves and becoming their new ones. And it's very unsettling to be on the receiving end of. And so is it really just about like, oh, this is it. I heard about this and now here it is?
Yeah, I think for my first child, it was a lot, obviously more jarring. And I got really sad too, as I felt like I was losing my baby. And I really like kind of leaned into these feelings, which I think is okay too. Like you got to feel what you feel about it, right? It's okay if you feel some grief and it's okay if you feel frustrated and whatever, and that you don't want it to happen. It's okay to feel all those feelings. But then we have to also pick ourselves up and still be able to parent this kid who is just as confused as we are. So we have to be the ones who are kind of the rock. It's not going to be them. It's not going to change for them. So for us, we have to learn sort of how to be that steady place for them and not be always reacting to the big reactions that they might be having according to whatever's happening to them in that moment.
We've talked about this in the podcast a lot, Margaret, my co-host, and I, about getting a little stuck in the respect my authority thing, which is from South Park. You will respect my authority. It's remarkably ineffective. And it is also, I think you just said it, right? That it is a place where you can kind of get stuck that I must discipline this out of them immediately. You can't behave like this. You can't be like this, as if this is how it's going to be now. When it really is, as you were just saying, something that's surprising them just as much and is intense, but maybe kind of temporary?
Absolutely. So true. Yeah, you can't parent them like out of the puberty. It's there, they're in it. You can't parent them out of being a teenager. What is happening in their brain? They're growing at such a rapid rate. If you can imagine, their brains are growing just as fast as they did when they were little toddlers learning all these things. There's so many things happening there for them that they need that steadiness and they need actually that connection to us. So when we try to step into, you will respect me, you will respect my authority. Exactly. No, that makes no sense to them. It's not something they can hold on to. And it also breaks that connection that we're trying to have with them. I did that for so long. I made so many mistakes in that arena of trying, especially to get my oldest to follow my rules and to speak this way and to do this way and to not do this. And then the resulting punishments and groundings and all the different things that happened were just wildly ineffective. I have a little story I could tell about that.
Yeah, please do. Go ahead.
Okay. So one of my biggest lessons around that authority piece of parenting was when my daughter really went off the rails when she was I don't even know, maybe 16, 15. She was supposed to be sleeping at a friend's house. And she and all of her friends had actually gone to some state park and slept out on this cliff where I never would, of course, let her bed. And she had gone to an elaborate length to not let me know that this is what she was doing. But then her friend posted all the pictures on Facebook the next morning.
Oh my gosh.
So she was totally napped, right? And I was so furious. It was good she wasn't home yet. But that didn't make me react real well. I literally just grounded her for 3 months. That's what I decided I was going to do, which made no sense at all. Didn't talk to her about it. And so this kid just looked me in the eye and said, "No problem. I was looking for some time to catch up on my art." And sat down at the table with her paints. And I thought, what? She's not going to, my authority isn't a thing here, right?
Right.
It was so ineffective. I couldn't even believe it. And then I thought, what in the world now do I do with this child?
And those moments are so much, you're feeling oh my gosh, what will become of my relationship with this child who will never listen to me again, right? And you, again, quoting you from the book, you say you feel shame when your kids are doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. You can't help but see it as a reflection on you, even if you're the only one who knows about it so far.
Absolutely true.
That being a mom means kids aren't supposed to screw up, and yet your kids sometimes do.
Absolutely true. And that is one of the hardest parts, is accepting that and thinking you're the only one. I am the only one whose kid is doing this, because people don't show that side all the time.
Yeah. Becoming a mom of a tween or a teenager, a parent, but a mom in your case, in my case, and sometimes it's about changing the definition, as you say, about what it means to be a good mom. It doesn't mean having a kid who never makes a mistake, and it doesn't mean having a kid who always listens to everything you say. So what is it? What's the definition of a good mom once your kid becomes a teenager? I mean, it's ever changing, right?
It's ever changing, and it varies by kid. I have 5. They're all wildly different in some ways and exactly the same in others. So it really becomes about parenting for that connection, parenting for a relationship. For me, I looked in my daughter's eyes at one point and she looked so defeated as I was just scolding her about something. And she looked like she wanted to run. And I thought, I am parenting in such a way that my child wants to actively run from me. That's not going to end well. I want to parent and be the mom whose kids can always call home. They can always come. They can bring anything to us. I want us to be each other's people forever. I think of being handed these little babies that were the most precious thing you could ever imagine. There's something in that relationship that I want to last forever. And I knew I needed to parent in a way that was different so that it could. so that we could keep that connection and keep that relationship. And so that when things were off the rails, they had a place to go and they didn't just make another worse mistake trying to run from that. That's what happens as we're trying to make them stay in authority or stay on the path. When they go off the path, they're just going to run farther if we're telling them how dumb they are for going off the path.
Right. I'm going to quote you back to you. You say, love sometimes looks like letting small things slide. That was something I circled back. Right. That's okay. Sometimes you're not a bad mom when you let them slam the door and don't chase them up the stairs and say, you will not slam the door in this house. That's sometimes it's about keeping the door open, the metaphorical door, even when the literal door is being slammed in your face, the metaphorical door of like, this relationship is worth my accepting your your sort of emotional baggage is something that you're dealing with too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is. That's why we have to be the steady person, right? They're not going to be. So sometimes being steady is just being like, I'm not going to react to that. It's okay, right? You slammed the door, you're having big emotions. And of course, you're not going to talk about it then. Right? That was another big mistake I would make. I'd go in and then I really wanted to communicate, right? Maybe I wasn't going to punish, but now I'm going to communicate. But you're trying to communicate to this closed door. And that's not only physically, but metaphorically closed.
All
right?
sorts of closed doors.
Yeah. Let's talk about your feelings. I can tell they don't want to talk to me right now. And that's okay. Like as a human person, we also have to understand. Sometimes that's how I feel. Our kids are just humans with way less experience than we have, that are going through this big time of all these changes. So of course it's going to go off the rails sometimes. I go off the rails sometimes and I'm quite a bit older than they are. So we need to have that grace. By giving them that grace, we can kind of come to that mutual understanding around each other's feelings.
I'm talking to Amy Betters-Midtvedt about her new book, You'll Make It and They Will Too, Everything No One Talks About When You're Parenting Teens. And we will be right back. Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem. I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future. No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH. My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand. And it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women, tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING. So, Amy, I wanted to talk to you about the idea of they're 18 and that's it. Because we've also talked about this in the podcast and you talk about it in the book, this idea that there's a magic age of 18 and you have to hurry up. You have to perfectly download everything that needs to happen into this cyborg before they walk out the door on their 18th birthday and you will never see them again. And I think it's definitely inaccurate and possibly outdated. Anyway, what's your experience, Ben, of having kids past their 18th birthday still need something from you sometimes?
Oh my gosh, sometimes, yes. There is just, you're right, there is nothing magic. Nothing all of a sudden happens when they're 18 or even 19 or 20, right? It's not like there's this expiration date for parenting our kids. There was a day when I really just needed some guidance about parenting my teens, and I was on the phone with my dad. And I was like, Dad, I am so overwhelmed. When does this end? And my dad was like, I think at the time I was like 48 or something. He's like, Amy, you're 48 and you're calling your dad.
Wow, right.
For advice. It doesn't end. I am still parenting you right now. Right. And that was so impactful to me. And I thought that's what I actually want. I want them to still be calling me when they're in their 40s. So I have to realize that there are still some things that my kids are going to need. Some of my kids have some neurodiversity. That's going to be even a longer path, right, of needing very different things and recognizing that they were all on whatever journey that was, and realizing all human beings need help and still need guidance and are still learning things. So of course mine are still going to. So because of that, we've launched kids in all different ways that have looked very different than, like, I think what was traditional, at least when I was growing up. You reached 18, you either went to college or you moved out of the house. When you say that's outdated, I think you've hit the nail on the head for so many reasons to expect that that's going to be our kid's path. And instead just thinking, all right, well, what's next for you and how can I support you in that thing? Eventually moving you toward, of course, being an independent person that's going to live outside these walls and support yourself. Of course, that's what everybody wants for you. But what does that path look like? We've become very open-ended with what that looks like for each of our kids.
And not having that hard end date makes this all a little bit easier, I think, because there is this pressure that you feel like you have to hurry up and get this right, that they're getting each step they take on a wrong path. You only have so much time to correct it. First of all, it's not yours to correct. But second of all, when they discover they've wandered off the path, and they might want to call you when they're 25 and say, I think I picked the wrong major in college and I want to go back to school, whatever's going to happen. I picked the wrong person to spend my life with, whatever. You want to be part of those things for them. You want to support them. And they want that too. So all right. So you're in agreement that you want this to be a lifelong relationship that's mutually supportive. So it just takes some of that like pressure cooker. I have to get this done by 5 p.m. feeling out of fixing them.
It absolutely does. And it makes the journey so much more beautiful and filled with joy than it would be if you are trying to work against time, right? It's impossible. It's impossible to do all that. You lay the best foundation you can, and then you just let them kind of go. And I think letting them experience their consequences, whether they're at whatever point in life they are, is just a big part of that as well. So that helps that growing process. You're not holding them back. Sometimes I think there is a societal pressure, like, what are they still doing? What are they still doing home? Or why aren't they doing X, Y, Z? It's okay. They're experiencing life and we're supporting them in that, and it's all okay.
You talk in the book about you're a Catholic and faith is a big part of your life. And each part of the book ends with a prayer that could also call it a meditation, maybe a sort of a reflection.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was thinking about I'm a Catholic also, and you talk about helping your child, supporting them, but staying out of the way while they become what God wants them to be. And then I think everybody, whether you have a religious background or not, understands what that means, right? That each kid is on a path to become what they are meant to be. And our job as parents is to help them become that way, not prune their growth in one way or another. But how do you apply that moment? Like, I'm just going to let them be everything that God wants them to be when they're spending the entire summer lying on your couch looking at their phone? Like, how do you look at that moment as I am letting them be all that God intends? How do you thread that?
That is a great question. Right. Because that can mean a different thing to me than it means to them. Right. And so absolutely part of that support is that nudge, is that those boundaries or those guardrails that we do put around them in parenting, right? For example, my 19-year-old is home taking a gap year and he's done different jobs, explored different careers. He's looking now at maybe some trade school. So he's just kind of done all these different things. But so great, live at home. We'd love to support you in that. But then also, right, you are living in the home and helping take care of the home as if you are a homeowner and you are doing some of these other things. There's some expectations placed around you as a human person that lives here while we're also supporting those decisions that you make. So it's that there's definitely that, like we were really concerned with making sure he bought himself a car that he had to pay for and pay insurance on, like that. There were some things that he could do to learn about that responsibility while he was still here in this supportive environment. So there is that balance and that continuing nudge. If it is, well, I don't really want to get a job right now, or there's nothing I want to do. That isn't becoming who God wants you to be. That isn't becoming the best version of yourself.
That's not becoming anything. I see. Right.
It's not becoming anything. So sometimes the question is, are you working toward being the best version of yourself? And we do have those actually individual talks with our older kids. And sometimes it is a regroup. Okay, let's just talk about what is in your way right now and how can you get out of that, and helping them make those little goals that help them get to that next spot. So there is that coaching piece that you're able to do as well.
But always primary is this idea of like, I'm going to stay in relationship with my kids, even as what they think God intends for them or their destiny is maybe not exactly what you would have chosen.
1,000%. And that was a really hard thing because I feel like we have these babies and we have this vision for what they're going to be. We can see their talents and we can see their gifts and like, this is it. And then they come at you with, no, actually, I'm going to do this, or I am changing my major for the third time now. And I'm thinking, okay, and what are you going to do with that? Like, I've got these questions, right, in my mind where if you would just like actually listen to this plan that I have, it'd be great. but you can't do that any more than anybody could walk alongside me and say that to me, right? It's okay. Well, let's see what happens. Let's go forth. And I've got all this faith that you're going to do the best you can with this. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And that is a really hard thing because we do still want to protect them from failure, or we want to protect them from hard things and hard consequences. But you absolutely can't. They have to experience those things to grow. And sometimes we have to just watch on the side as smiling away, because sometimes they surprise us and it works out great.
Well, that's true.
And we're 1,000% wrong. And so you got to let them live their lives so you can have those moments too.
Right. The cockamamie notion they might have for their future career, it totally works out or whatever. Yeah.
They've done all sorts of crazy things here where I'm like, I didn't really realize that was going to go that well. Great.
Right. But I'm going to quote you again. You say, if you want to be included in their growth, you have to let them grow without insisting it looks perfect. So even if you're side coaching, for me, it's become about like refraining from comment.
Oh, yes.
More. Right? Let there be times that I don't enter a room and direct them to do something different than they're doing or ask them a question about their job application. Just sometimes you just...
Oh my gosh, that was such a good one. Yes, that's what I'm trying to do right now. It is, right?
Sometimes you just walk through a room and don't say anything about what they're doing that you think should be something different. What if you said nothing?
The coaching should be the minimal moments and the relationship stuff should be the maximum. And that might mean one of the things that I think is really powerful is just to really get some joy out of knowing them as a human person. So what are they into? What do they love? I have one daughter right now who loves plants. She's just loving this. And I kill everything. Legit everything. She's got all these, but she's teaching me, and I'm actually growing some beans in the backyard and she's helping me with them and they haven't died yet. And my son who loved cars when he was little still loves them. And I'm learning to identify cars when we're on car trips. We talk about all these other things that they love and are interesting to them. And so then when you are in a position to maybe offer a little advice, it's within this wider relationship and conversation, and they're going to listen to you more because you're not the person that they're running from, because, oh my gosh, every time walks in the room, she is going to ask me about my job application. And so I'm going to try not to be in the room with her. Right?
Right.
I don't blame them. So that we have to build more than that.
I'm talking to Amy Betters-Midtvedt. She is the author of You'll Make It and They Will Too. More after this.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that: taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE. Amy, you have so many, the chapters are broken down into different aspects of this very complicated journey. And it's very useful. It's very funny. It's very touching. And every chapter breaks down what you can't do, what you can do, the good news, the long story short, and then at the end, there's a prayer or meditation. And there's so many little things that I just found myself pausing and reflecting on, not just at the ends of the chapters, but throughout. Like, I'll give you one example. You said you have to remember to tell your kids what you love about them now, as they are now, or what you're looking forward to seeing in them, rather than just, can you believe how cute you were at your third birthday party, which I tend to do a lot of. I get the old pictures on my phone.
Oh, yes.
I text them to my and it it means so much to me. And like, why are you sending me these pictures of this person who doesn't even feel like me, right? Ask me how my day was. And I thought, I've never thought of it that way, but that must be weird to be on the receiving end of sometimes.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I found myself doing that so often that I realized I was really kind of hurting our relationship, right? Because it was all, I think my kids were feeling bad about growing up.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like this version of them as much, right? Like,
yeah.
We still sometimes say it to my youngest who just turned 13, and we're like, oh, you were so cute. Oh, stay little. We might have those feelings, and that's okay. But I can see that look on his face where it is like, oh, wait, look at you. Look at all these amazing things. This is so great, right? You've passed up your sister in height. It finally happened. How do you guys feel about it? Just to really focus on those positive pieces, because they're already, especially at the beginning, feeling awkward about what's happening. So we want to lean into the good parts of these teenage years, because there are so many.
Talk about using technology when words are hard and how you might put that into practice.
Oh yeah, that's been a big one. And I have lots of words about technology and social media and things. But one of the things I have found just incredibly useful is the use of text. When those doors are closed and kids are in their rooms, they all go through that phase, right, where they're kind of just in their room a lot and they don't want to be out and they don't really want to be talking. But I found they will text me back. We can connect. We've got some fun like family threads and individual threads. And actually my kids usually fight to they'll come on my phone and try to change theirs to being pinned first, right? Like that's like the game, that they're pinned first on mom's phone and then they're the favorite. But so right now Kate is up there. She actually relabeled herself mom's BFF. So they're like really playing it. But within those, not only are you sharing funny memes or like family jokes, but individually kids will say things sometimes over text that they wouldn't feel comfortable maybe saying to you face to face. So some of those harder things, sometimes my kids, I'll ask a question, they'll actually answer, or they'll come forth with some information and say, Mom, I don't know how to tell you this, but this. And that's so powerful to have that method of communication at our fingertips and getting them to kind of open up in their language, right? They're doing that all the time. It's kind of my second language, but it tends to be their first.
Yes. So one of my kids is super into sending me Instagram messages that are just like, look at this funny video, look at this funny dog video. And then I send back like a baby otter video. And that's how we communicate. And this kid doesn't live in my house anymore. This kid's away at college. But every day I hear from this kid in the version of, look at this kitty cat dressed up like Oscar the Grouch. I don't know, whatever it is.
I love everything about that. That is such a wonderful thing. Yes.
Yeah. And it's very driven. It's driven by this child. And so it's like, okay, I guess this is how we do it. And I love it because that's how I know the kid is still at college, still surviving.
Yes. And they're connecting with you through like humor. Oh, it's so wonderful. I love that story.
It's what they want. And so I'm meeting them where they are. I mean, believe me, I love cat videos. It's fine. I'm happy to communicate in this language, but I didn't set out to do it. It just sort of happened.
Oh, I love it. Yes. That's the whole thing, is meeting them where they are. They're all so different. So there isn't a one size fits all. And when you find that thing, it's just really cool.
I wanted to make sure to talk about sort of two more things that are when things aren't going so well. And the first one is when things are not going well and there's this desire sometimes on our part as parents to pretend that they are. And you talk about how pretending is like a wall that goes up between you and your kid. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I really like when we just try to shine it all up and say it's all fine. And even if they see us shining up to somebody else and it's not even to them, right? That we are building this wall, and on the wall, they just read like, how you feel is not as important as how this looks. They can see those words. And that to me is just a message we never, ever want to send. We want them to know how they feel is way more important than how anything looks. And that it is okay to be a broken person or to feel broken, to break into a million pieces. You can go ahead and do that. And there's no shame in that. And that we are here for that. And whatever that looks like to the outside world, so be it. That's not where we're going to concern ourselves. We are going to concern ourselves with what is happening in this house and how they are feeling and doing and how we can help them in whatever that thing is. And that can be really hard because of that shame that you might feel as a parent. Like a good mom wouldn't have a kid who was hiding a vape in their bed, right? I've done all the things and now this happened. How can this be? I must have failed. And that's not the truth. We have to rewrite that narrative for ourselves. I keep saying, like, when you get a teenager, you should maybe also get a therapist because you want to be working on the part of you that feels that shame or might be driven to do those things so that you can be that best version of yourself and keep those walls down and really be there in a way to help your kids when they are the ones falling apart.
That's the other thing I wanted to bring up. You said you owe it to your kids to be the best version of you. Can't always do it, but that's true, right? You have to be the best version of yourself. When they're driving up a wall, go work on that, right? Go feel those valid feelings and be the best version of yourself with them while they're struggling.
Absolutely. Which means you do need some support as a parent. It can be really lonely, whether that's a therapist or you do have a trusted friend or family member. It's really tricky because sometimes your kids will bring you things in confidence and they want that to remain in confidence. So there are things that you might hold for them that you have to hold. Right? But the fact that you are struggling as a parent is something you can talk about, right? You don't have to betray their confidence in friendships and other relationships to be able to say, I'm just really having a hard time right now. Get that support for yourself. Of course, therapy is wonderful because you can say what you need to say, right? Get your bearings. So when you show up for them, you are showing up for them 100%. Because when things go off the rails, it's really scary for everybody. So they need that soft place that's also really strong to land.
So tell me, when you set out to write this book, what were you hoping that readers will take away from it? What do they need to understand?
The idea for this book really came like one night when I was sitting outside of a bedroom drawer of one of my kids and I had no idea how to help them. And I did not know how to talk about it. And I thought, I wished for something, right? I was like, I just wish I had something that I could look at or read and just know somebody else has gone through something hard. So that was the beginning. So I really wanted this book to be a resource for parents where they could come when they just needed some support. And I really wanted to help parents lean into this idea that we are parenting not only when they are small for that connection, but through their whole entire lives for that relationship and that connection to them. And if we can use it as our guidepost, instead of feeling fear or feeling like we need to be in charge or we need to control things, if we can strip those away and we can just find ways to be in relationship and connected to our human children, right? That they would have just that feeling that they can do it, right? Because I believe as a parent, that's what we want to do. But it's ultimately, we want those best things for our kids collectively.
I've been speaking to Amy Betters-Midtvedt. She is the author of the new book, You'll Make It and They Will Too. Everything no one talks about when you're parenting teens. I really love this book, as you could probably tell. I'm going to put the link to where you can buy it in the show notes for this episode. But Amy, tell our listeners where else they can find you and your work on the internet.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, you can find me on my website. It's just amybettersmidtvedt.com. There's a link to all my socials on there. I'm on Facebook and Instagram a lot. My kids are trying to make me less cringy on TikTok, apparently. So there perhaps will be just like an explosion of really amazing TikToks coming from me if they have their way, but I'm not sure. So yeah, you can find me all those places, and there's a link to my book and to my speaking page as well on my website. So find me for all the things.
I will put the links to all of that in the show notes as well. Amy, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you so much.